made it simple for us. He said, so it's simple. If I lose, it's going to be Daybreak. If I win, or the other way around, if I lose, it's going to be Entombed. If I win, it's going to be Daybreak. So now you guys know that too. Maybe TT1 is lying. I don't think he would. But
WCS is best of 3 all the way through. So
that is correct.
This is one best of 3 game before we move on to other things. And spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom is Infinity 7's jEcho. Come on, that would be a prize.
No. Not for the people over here.
Man, TT1, so BM. Top right, Root TT1. And Kev, we've got a little money on this game.
Yes, we do actually. I have faith in my Protoss brother and my teammate TT1, while you actually believe in your Zerg brother.
Yeah, man, Zerg brothers fighting. jEcho and I practiced together a little bit back in the day when I was playing full time, and he has gone on to become a very good North American Zerg, whereas I am just a mediocre North American Zerg. And I do think that he is a very, very tough opponent for TT1. A guy that we know who's struggled in PvZ in the past.
That is true, but we've also tested him a lot, and certainly his games against Zenio back then, I think TT1 looked really, really strong. Doing a lot of 2 basic aggression, but not even completely committing to it. Eventually falling back, taking a late turret, but taking one in the end. And I think those games were actually something that he can really put a lot of faith upon. I think TT1 is going to be able to do it. It's going to be a long tournament for both these guys. As we said several times, the Canadian qualifier is one that's really, really stacked. And we almost forget it right now, because now all the eyes are on Hawk, and Hawk is of course the only guy who plays in both tournaments. But TT1 came very close to being that guy as well.
I agree. I mean, TT1 was at our last final. Was he at the first final as well? I think he was.
Yes.
And was just barely not qualified for Season 3 North American Star League Finals. He would actually be our first replacement if anything were to happen to one of the players.
Yeah, that's true. He even made it through the wildcard matches. Out of all the guys who did play wildcard matches at NASL, Red is the only one who made it all the way. But that is NASL, guys. We can talk about that later on. You see TT1 over here. Nexus first, followed up with a 4th. Double final over here as well. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is a little bit interesting.
Money wall up, right?
He sort of restricts his building space. He can't put anything up in his main for a while. So I don't think he's got any plans of doing too much building in the meantime. He's just, he's got no gases yet. He's just going to be pumping out those probes. Getting that early game economy going. And jEcho also playing pretty standard here.
I think TT1 is quite comfortable with Cloud Kingdom. I think that's a map in general that he practices a lot if he does play custom games. And in second of all, everybody kind of knows how a map like Cloud Kingdom plays off, and I think for a player like TT1 that's nice. There's something to fall back on. Okay, I've done this 100 times. There are certain pushes I really like to execute. And well, Cloud Kingdom, you can hide stuff, but at the end of the day, it's all pretty straightforward.
Nice thing about Cloud Kingdom for Protoss is that it's a pretty narrow map, and you can really you can make force field so strong here if you cast it correctly and you use it effectively. TT1's a guy that is very good with his army positioning and his engagements. And you cited the games he played against Zenio, which I think were some of the best PvZs we've seen out of him ever.
Yep. And I think he would feel the same way about that. You see a second gateway already going up for TT1 then. I'm a little bit surprised by that, and I kind of wonder where he's going to take this. He's mining from both simulators in his main.
Yeah, just 2 gas. And that second gateway, yeah, I'm not sure either, Kev. As we do see the third base down for jEcho, and TT1 still being very, very persistent with these this probe scout that he's got floating around here. He's going to spot this third, confirm that it's there. Hasn't tried to throw down any pylons or anything like that yet.
No, that was interesting as well. Did not decide to commit anything and trying to delay anything. 6 minutes into the game, man. 0 resources has been lost. Both players are very, I wouldn't say greedy, but cautious.
Yeah, they're playing as safe as they possibly could, not wanting to commit anything that might ultimately waste it.
That was really excellent scouting by TT1, as you pointed out as well. That probe has been alive for a long time and did see quite a bit. +1 is on the way for TT1, and he's gonna, it seems like a little bit of 3-stalker pressure, trying to just force out as many slow links as possible. If you micro the Dwell's Protoss, you're gonna be able to force a lot of units out of the Zerg. But we do see the Roach one going down as well, and Creep is, it's already making its way over to the third base, so it's all going to come down to execution. But I like the idea of TT1, but jEcho seems prepared as we see 12 links are on the way.
Yep, he's just now starting to mine gas. He's not going to have Zergling speed or anything like that. What? That is a very, very fast third base.
And look, right when actually TT1 is warping in that third baseman, we see that Overlord making its way over. And the Overlord will be able to spot that Nexus now.
Yeah, so jEcho knows, Kev.
jEcho does know, but if he was already gonna commit himself to making a lot of units right now, his drone count would be very low. And we've talked a lot about this in the past. You can try to do something about that base with 55 drones, but then you also only have a certain amount of waves that you can really throw at him.
Yeah.
After the third wave, it's pretty much over, and Zerg is dead.
That's true.
So we'll see how jEcho is going to react to this.
Yeah, there's basically two things you can do when a Protoss takes a really fast third base. You can try to throw everything you have at it, or you can just overly macro. You can take another base, you can make a ton of drones, because as we can see, TT1 doesn't have a lot of ability to pressure himself. He's got these 3 Stalkers, he's got 2 Sentries, and that's it, Kev.
I like what TT1 has been doing so far, though, because everything has felt very safe. Zergling speed is, well, it just started now. It's not even halfway through. So TT1 is already going to get his sentry count up. He's going to be able to create a very nice wall over here, because he's going to have plenty of time. With those Stalkers, he had map control, because he knows that slow links can challenge him. So I really like the opening. I'm digging it.
Yeah, me too. And if you look at the work account, Kev, it's 55 probes to 69 drones.
And that's just now.
Just now, exactly. Yes. The drones that put jEcho ahead were just now popping. So 9 minutes into the game, TT1 was basically even on economy.
And sometimes you see games where Zerg overtakes Protoss at 6:30, like 7 minutes is kind of standard. The TT1 did a really good job in chrono boosting out as many probes as possible, yet still be very safe against pretty much everything.
We've seen no 4th base yet from jEcho, but he is getting a 4th hatchery, which is making me feel like we're going to see a lot of layer tech aggression. He's getting roach speed, he's getting +1, and now the unit production is beginning. And I've got to say, I really like the way this is looking for TT1.
I couldn't agree more with you, Ben. I think everything he's done so far feels very safe. I love this mini wall-off over here as well. Should be a full wall-off, I cannot imagine anything otherwise. I would love to see 2 cannons over here, though, just to make your life a little bit easier. Always leave 1 or 2 sentries there and leave 2 cannons, so you don't really have to move your army around all the time. But TT1 is much like other foreign Protosses, pretty decent in splitting up his army. Of course, Koreans as well, but as a top player, he's pretty good at splitting up his army, not afraid to leave some units behind. So I think he's going to be able to do fine, and now we do see that 4th base going up as well.
It looks so hard to attack into TT1 here, Kev. He's got walls everywhere, he's got brilliant positioning, he's got the right units for what our Zerg player here is going to be throwing at him. And I just don't really see an attack working out. We do see jEcho getting a 4th base, though.
And he's having a lot of units over here on the north side. I think that's very smart. Coming via the ramp would have been tougher. Now, this is actually going to be sort of annoying for TT1. TT1 did not see this coming at all, so now we're going to see the first units being lost. Nice run by.
Ling's going to get right in there on that 3rd base. Going to get a handful of probe kills, and then just back out. So, no major damage being dealt.
10 workers. That went really quick.
But TT1's still on 66 probes, so I mean, his economy is excellent still.
Yep, and +2 is almost ready as well, and now he knows. Like, the only thing that wasn't all that good for TT1 is this is his map vision, and all that he sees is an observer in the main base. He actually has no idea where the army is of jEcho, and jEcho's going to try to be aggressive once more.
Yeah, and the army of TT1, while it is a strong defending army, is not an army that can really come out and do anything about jEcho in the meantime.
I would really love to see TT1 bring his observer back and put it on patrol around this area, so he actually has vision of the army.
Or even just make 1 more observer. He's got double robo.
Yeah, he has double robo, actually. I just saw that as well. 2 Colossus on the way. And I like those 2 Colossus against what jEcho has so far, unless the Hive is going to be thrown down real soon. But so far, man, it's still layer. Yeah. So if this Colossus count goes up, this Protoss army is going to be scary.
I'm a little concerned that the Hive hasn't started, Kev. Yeah. No Hive, no Spire, a few Infestors around, but TT1's...
I think it's literally a matter of seconds. With 10 more drones on the way, I cannot imagine that he won't start it within the next 20 seconds.
Yeah, he's up to 90 drones. He's also building a ton of spines, so he's in that sort of... There it is. Hive goes down, just like you predicted, Kev.
Mad prediction skills.
jEcho just in the process of making that transition to the in-game Zerg army that's so strong.
jEcho's like trying to see if he can make something happen over here. Of course, you have to be scared. This is why I would have loved to see a cannon and a force field. Imagine if you drop the force field right now with all those links there. Transition a couple of the other units and you get a bunch of links for free. War Prism on the way for TT1 now as well.
I like it. It's just going to open up his game a little bit. It allows him to apply some pressure. He's been sitting back. He's been playing completely passively. And this War Prism is going to give him some ability to make jEcho sweat.
And I mean, Spine Crawlers, they can definitely buy yourself quite some time. But since TT1 has been on double robo for quite a while, with 4 or 5 Colossus, those Spine Crawlers are suddenly not all that scary anymore. TT1 getting an offensive pylon over here as well. I think jEcho's going to have a hard time defending this.
Yeah, this is a scary army, but TT1's got to be careful not to overcommit. jEcho's only got 10 roaches and a lot of Zerglings, but he's got a ton of macro potential. He's got all these bases, all these hatcheries, so much larva.
Yeah, 17 lava right now. It was 9. +3 is on the way for TT1 as well. So he might. Oh, actually, Jekyll sniped that pilot over here. That was a good.
Oh, it's a really scary army. The Warp Prism is over the creep. Infested Terran's going to try to be dropped on it, but the army is there to cover it, and I do not think that jEcho can do anything about that. He is max. He's got a lot of units on the way. Spire's just about to finish.
+2 for TT1. Just 1-1 for our Zerg player.
And here we go. He's going to go ahead and commit to it. Good force fields by TT1. Fungals are going down, and the Stalkers are taking some damage, but with Blink done, they're going to be able to maneuver beautifully, and TT1 is hitting an excellent timing here.
Those force fields, all of the Infestors trapped as well. Fungals land, but almost all of the units did not go anything below their shields.
Infested Terrans going down. Roaches are trying to commit. So many Infested Terrans being dropped, but there's just not an answer in this Zerg army. TT1 at 170 supply against 140 of the Zerg supply, and I do not think this push is going to be stopped, Kev.
The Infestors falling. Now the Spine Crawlers will fall as well. 7 more Infestors are on the way. +3 is now almost ready for TT1 as well, and his army looks just as terrifying now as it did before the fight started.
Yeah, drones are being pulled. jEcho's economy, he can still produce, but he's just not really able to make anything that works against the Colossi. And, I mean, we're just seeing it here. Spine Crawler's trying to transition, but no good. GG comes out. And Root TT1 takes game number 1.
Such a clean and beautiful game by TT1. Was there really anything that TT1 did not do right over there?
That was,
maybe we could take another look at perhaps one of the final moments of that game.
Let's go ahead and just play that that last little engagement there while we talk about how well TT1 played. He was safe the whole time. Look at these excellent force fields that he drops.
Yeah, I really love the 3 force fields with trapped like the 3 Infestors. Those were awesome.
But that's just perfect force field. There's no overlap. It keeps the lings away. The roaches are just dealt with by the Colossi.
The Colossus are standing above everything, above the sentries. Like, not bad. Look at those force fields, man. Those were awesome.
Yeah, very, very well played by TT1. And that's just kind of what we've come to know him for. And I guess in recent weeks, really, he's developed so much and he's become such a good, strong positional player.
And he was so passive as well.
I'm sorry?
And he was so passive as well. Like, he scouted everything. He only had 1 observer. His probes stayed alive for a long time. Then he scouted everything. The only thing he could have done a little bit better was keep track of the army of jEcho to actually see when it was going to hit the north side. But other than that, super beautiful game by TT1.
Excellent, excellent play by TT1. Second map is going to be, I don't know what it's going to be.
Well, TT1 said if he would win the first map, it's going to be Daybreak. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it is going to be Daybreak, so you're exactly right. Guys, we're going to take a very short break while we get this second game hosted. When we come back, game number 2 between Roots TT1 and Infinity 7's jEcho.